he has delivered the announcement. Speaking of the Amazon, from the Amazon rainforest, he's doing things, Charlie. Don't give me that look. He's doing
But it's
things.
not a beach.
Well, that's true. I bet you can find one there.
Where's his ice cream?
I bet you they got ice cream. I mean, you're not gonna go down Amazon. Look at that. He's got his like jungle explorer shirt on, of course, with the Ray-Bans. So this is at the end of the press conference when he just announced that he's allowing Ukraine to shoot missiles 180 miles into Russia. Here in the jungle now.
Announcer.
Yeah, just in case there was any doubt, they put the date and everything. Look, there he goes. Off to live in the jungle. Just do.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, except he's walking on his own like a big boy. Look, here you go. I'm a Biden of the trees. There we go. So that is about how seriously we took. I wonder who told him. You know? Mr. President, we are going to let Ukraine shoot missiles into Russia. We're going to need you to say this. What? All right. So I'm in the middle of the jungle, buddy. So, yep. The Ukrainian army is not able to strike with modern long-range precision systems of Western manufacture. It cannot do this. It can only do so using intelligence from satellites, which Ukraine does not have. This is data only from EU satellites or from the United States. In general, from NATO satellites. This is the first thing. The second, and very important, maybe the key, is that only NATO servicemen can in fact enter the flight assignments into the missile systems. Ukrainian servicemen cannot do this. And so this is not about allowing the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons or not. It is about deciding whether NATO countries are directly involved in a military conflict or not. If the decision is made, it will mean nothing other than the direct participation of NATO countries, the United States, European countries, in the war in Ukraine. This is their direct participation, and this already, of course, significantly changes the very essence, the very nature of the conflict.
State, but with the support of a nuclear state, is proposed to be considered as their joint attack on Russia. Russia will also consider the possibility of using nuclear weapons when receiving reliable information about a massive launch of means of aerospace attack and their crossing of our state border. This includes strategic and tactical aircraft, as well as cruise missiles and drones, hypersonic and other delivery vehicles. Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression, including if the enemy, using conventional weapons, poses a critical threat.
So what in the hell are we doing? Why escalate right before you leave, you know? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But he doesn't make the call. Biden doesn't make the call. Like, he's not making the call. And so you go, okay, so then what's the call? And so you got upper military brass that goes, Trump's going to come in. We've seen how he does. Military's not a big fan of Trump at the upper brass kind of regions. He's a bit chaotic. Last time he would tweet things where he says, this is what our military will do. And then the military goes, I believe that's a direct order from the commander in chief. And then they go, I guess, because they will immediately do this. You go, I guess we have to immediately do that, you know? So it caused great consternation, you know, in the military, where it's like they would have to turn on a dime from a tweet. And, they really needed to have a
filter.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously a filter would have been great, but they needed really an ambassador to the White House, where it's just like he just stood in there whenever Trump's tweeting, just to be like, "Is that an order?" I'm like, just hold on. I think a lot of them be like, "Yeah, we'll talk about it in the morning." You know, I'm just pooping watching Fox and Friends, you know. And so like, But no, so I think, you get this military brass. They know when Trump comes in, he's more organized this time. He's already making moves. He's already talking strongly about ending this conflict. We already know that Russia was on board with ending it, that Ukraine doesn't actually have a choice. We own them. Like, for all these like Twitter people that are like Ukraine loyalists, like, don't get me wrong, love your country, defend your country and all this stuff. But the way they talk about, oh, defending this country. No, we own you. We bought you. You're not a country. You haven't been a country for 1,000 days. Or actually longer than that. Since we overthrew your government and we installed our puppet government, we own your country. I don't want that to be true. I think that's bad policy. But the reality is, Ukrainians are just our bitches. The whole country, all of you can be as proud as you want to. You don't get to make your decisions. We make all of your decisions. The fact that you're alive is because we decided it. And not even us as people. The Biden administration. That's the only reason your towns are destroyed is because our administration decided that was the right way to go. We wanted to destroy your towns. We wanted your people to die. And we want to keep that going for a while. We like the death. We like the whole thing. Children and women getting trafficked. It's our whole thing. We're doing all of it because we're going to make so much money on the rebuild, and it's going to be, a puppet state for us on the Russian border. Like, I wish there was something noble to be said. I'm not saying Ukrainians are not noble people. I'm not saying they don't. I don't really know their history, but I'm not saying like you don't have pride. You're not noble people, but your government's not. And everything that's happening in your country, the least important people in this war are the people of Ukraine. When you just look at it on a macro level, this is bad. I'm not saying this is a nice thing. This is bad. I disagree with this. But we don't care. You're literally throwaway pieces on a board. You die, who cares? No one cares. We want this to go on for a long time, as long as possible. Military-industrial complex gets paid. That helps everybody at home. Russia gets weaker. That helps CIA and kind of overarching foreign policy to take down one of the two big dogs out there. It's China and it's Russia. It's America. Sandy. But if you make Russia get super weak, then it's just China you got to worry about. So you don't matter. Sorry, but you don't. And so upper military brass goes, okay, Trump's about to pull out of this thing. He's going to make some sort of deal in the conflict, and it's going to be over. We still haven't seen what they're capable of doing with their missile defense system. Is it as good as they've talked about, or is it kind of like some of their Cold War era stuff where it's like good, but not really? It's rusted and falling apart. We got to see this. We have to see this. We don't have much time left. So it's let's shoot some in there. Not a crazy amount, not ultrasonic, not, some of the things that old Pooty Poot talked about there. But let's grab a sixer. Let's grab a sixer, drive over and shoot it in a couple directions, see what's up. And they did, they shot it in some directions and they got to see the response time, the success rate. I think that one only got dinged is probably an interesting data point. I find it interesting. I imagine that all the people with the satellite access find it even more interesting than I. And I think if they don't do another shot into Russia, I think it confirms that it was to test, in my opinion, of course, that I think it does point to that it was a test of their systems, but that they do take Putin seriously, that he might retaliate. So if they do it again, perhaps it is a month from now, a week before Christmas. Things are slowing down. News is slower. They shoot another sixer in there. Nothing crazy. Maybe they even programmed the targets to not be too crazy inside of Russia. If you enjoyed that segment from the Loaded Talk podcast, please click below for the full episode and consider liking and subscribing. As always, you can go to loadedtalk.com to follow all things Loaded Talk.